Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. In this video, I'm going to talk about some pictures that Tony Williams, who is a fellow Aptera enthusiast, he lives nearby Carlsbad and he owns a small business called QC Charge in the area. So he lives very close to the location of Aptera's final assembly plant, which is at 5818 El Camino Real, Carlsbad, California. Public knowledge, it's in their SEC reports. So you can tell from this report that they signed this lease in October 21 for a new lease agreement. Lease is due to commence in May 2022. So May 2022 is when they moved in. And the terms of agreement, they get $300,000 in tenant improvements, and the company paid 2.5 million as a security deposit. Now, Tony Williams did some Google searching and found out that their lease rent is about $93,000 a month. Okay, so they're paying $93,000 a month for this place. So they entered this lease agreement in October 2021. They announced um, that they signed a lease on November 4th, 2021. So pretty soon after they signed the lease. And here's a picture, a mock-up picture of the location. And if you go to Google Maps, you can see that this is the location right here, 5818 El Camino Real. And it used to be uh, leased by a company called Alpha Tech that does spinal hardware for spine surgery. They're a pretty big company, but they vacated the premises, and Aptera has now taken over the lease of this fairly large building, which is their final lease location. So Tony went by and let's see, sorry, my computer's acting funny. So Tony went by and took some pictures through the window of the building. And so these are the pictures. There's a couple of interesting things, and one thing I find the most interesting, but here's kind of the front door, and there's like a sort of receptionist desk. Upstairs is probably some offices. Here looks like some work areas with lots of small parts that they're getting going. Most of it is empty because this is going to be their floor. And like there's a board, and I don't know what it's on this board, but I'm wondering if this is just like a layout of how the factory's gonna be laid out or not. I don't know. I can't really make that out. Um, but this is, basically all the AGVs from Red Viking are gonna go through here. This is gonna be their final assembly plant. Their sub-assembly plant is somewhere else. And if you look at this picture, what you can see is this is Luna, and this is the Beta Dynamics vehicle. And you can see that the rear wheel is off, the rear hub motor is here, and it's got a jack. And the jacking point looks like it's in front of where the rear suspension is going to be. So that's probably where the jacking point is going to be. Remember, the jacking point for this was kind of here, and the jacking point for this is going to be in front of the rear suspension. And then here's the working area and some boxes. And I don't know what this is. Looks like this is some kind of test rig. Maybe this is the cooling testing rig or something else. And then here is the solar test rig. So this is kind of the solar beta, which we've never seen before until these pictures. At least I haven't seen it before. And there's a better shot of it coming up. And I think that's kind of the most interesting thing in this video. Okay, so you look here. Um, Here you see the Beta Dynamics vehicle. This is the one that a lot of people have gotten a ride in. And they've been doing all their suspension work and things like that off of this Beta. Here you see a glimpse of another vehicle. This is a Gamma vehicle, looks like, or at least more final. It has the internal structure, and it's on like an AGV mule. So this is not the full AGV, but I think this is like a mock-up so that the things can rest on it. And we'll get a better look at that in the future. I have no idea what this thing is. All right, so here's a better look at it. In here you see this, I think, is the suspension hardware where the suspension goes in for the Beta vehicle. They've gotten the rear suspension out. It's up on a jack. All right, here is the Beta vehicle, or I mean, sorry, the Gamma vehicle, I think. Not the Gamma vehicle we've all been seeing, but another Gamma. Because this, you can clearly see the yoke. Here's the center thing for the center screen. Here's the screen that's above the yoke and the pedals. And it's on this kind of AGV mule. So I think this is a mock-up so that like a real AGV will have wheels and all kinds of stuff and sensors and things like that for it to move around. But this is how it's gonna dock into that thing. Here's what I think is interesting about this picture. I don't see the vents. I don't know where the vents are. There's a large opening here that maybe so maybe the vent around the screen is still a possibility. Not sure, but I definitely don't see any other vents on here. Maybe it's hidden behind this A pillar, but I don't see a vent. If you look here, see there's no vent here. There's no vent. So I don't know where the vent is. This looks like it's some kind of air handler, like a fan or something. So I don't know if they plan on venting from the floor only. That seems very inefficient and not the way to do it. So I don't think that's what they're doing. I guess one possibility is there's only a vent underneath the windshield and it's going to vent like a defrost, and that's the only vent there is. Not sure. Okay, hopefully we get answers. We're going to get answers pretty soon. We're only 1 week away from the fully charged event, and I think we're going to get a lot of answers. This is a Chevy truck that obviously Aptera owns or leases. That's one of their delivery trucks. Maybe they're using this to ship things back and forth from their sub-assembly plant to their final assembly plant. This is a J1772 plug on a NEMA 1420, I think, plug on here. So obviously they're using a J1772 chargers, maybe with a Tesla adapter. Here you get a better shot of the wheel, the motor. I think this is the suspension bracket, and you clearly see that the jack is in front of the suspension swing arm of the beta vehicle. And here's Luna. All right. So this, I think, is the most interesting picture that he got. This is clearly a solar test mule. So they have been testing their solar. Until now, we have not seen any mock-up of their solar testing. This is definitely the front hood. This is probably the dash. This is the roof and the rear. And along here, it's kind of there's a lot of glare from the window, but you can clearly see at least 3 roofs. These are roof assemblies with solar panels on them. Now, what I don't know is what this thing is. Not sure what this thing is. Looks pretty small. Could be another dashboard unit. Could be a visor thing that some people have speculated on. Not sure what that is. And this, I think, yeah, I don't. They're not plugged in. See, these wires are kind of free, so they're not plugged into anything. I wonder if they plug into here. These look like some kind of relays or capacitors, but they've clearly built a test mule that's kind of the shape of the Aptera, and they probably have tested this outside to see what kind of solar gain they can get from these modules. So makes me feel good. We have seen their solar test chamber that they bought to test the longevity of the things. So they've definitely done a lot of work on how they're going to encapsulate this thing. But until now, we have not seen a full mock-up of the solar to see if they can test if they get the amount of solar energy gain that they expected. And I think this is that solar mule. So that's very interesting. If you look back here, you can clearly see 4 vehicles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you see, he probably took the previous pictures through here where we see uh, the the gamma mock-up. Oh, that's interesting because this was the beta on the previous picture. So maybe it's a different one. Hmm. But I think this looks like Noir. This looks like Sol or Luna. This looks like that Gamma mock-up that's on an AGV Mule. And this looks like either Sol or Gamma too, right here. But let me see. Let's go back. Okay. Hmm. That is interesting. Because that's the solar mule. He's taking that picture from this window. Here's the mule. And next to the mule on if you're looking from this window, it would be on the left of this. So let's go back at that. So here's the mule to the left of this. This should be the beta, but it's not. Not sure what's going on here. Maybe this was taken on 2 different days? I wouldn't think so. But yeah, this should be the gamma and this should be the beta when he's taking that other picture. This picture. Hmm. Unless he took this on 2 different days. Okay. Well, anyways, the most important thing I think is this solar mule, which makes me sure that they've been doing testing on it, which is good. And I think that was very interesting. Now, the a lot of the brand ambassadors are going to go on a tour of the factory this Thursday. Unfortunately, I have work commitments and I couldn't go. I was invited to go, but I couldn't go. I don't know if they're going to allow filming. If they do allow filming, I know that Rich Rodriguez and Raj are going to. I think they're going and so you'll probably see footage from their on their channels, um, and I'll definitely reference them if they have content. I don't know if they're going to allow filming or not, but we do know that just by shooting through their windows, which is a perfectly I think legitimate thing to do, um, you can see that they have lots of boxes. They're getting deliveries of stuff. They've built the solar mule. Um, yeah, there's you can see lots of boxes are being delivered and they're definitely this is not the gamma that we're seeing at fully charged. This is another vehicle that they're working on. So this is a totally separate vehicle, but it's definitely got the gamma screen configuration and the yoke and everything. So this is the most updated version that's different from this beta dynamics vehicle. And here you can see the back end where I was in a previous video suspecting it might be metal, but after reading all the comments, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong now and that it must be some other kind of plastic or composite material that's just very thin. Okay, well, very interesting. These pictures, I think, were pretty interesting. Shows that there is some progress going on in there. Most of it looks empty because it's gonna be empty because you just need a big wide floor space to put AGVs and run the production line around. But they're definitely getting deliveries of things, and they've definitely been testing their solar mule, which I think is good news. Okay, we will get good answers in a week. We'll have lots of information in a week, I think. So pretty excited. I will be there Sunday again, um, and hope to see some of you guys there. Thanks for watching. Look forward to your comments below. Thanks as always to our supporting members, and have a great day, everyone.